Hey, 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 hey. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Yep, y'all beat me this time. Y'all beat me to the call. Had some family stuff to tend to. Y'all beat me to the call, but I'm here. I am here for sure. I'm gonna be here for sure. Making sure everything is situated on this screen. Do I have? Yeah, I do have this open. Make sure we got our pieces and parts ready for the show. Happy Sunday. Who's playing football? Who's playing right now? Y'all tell me who's playing right now. I saw Dallas was playing against, I think it was the Jets. Dallas was winning at the time. I was watching a little bit of that game. Who else was playing? Who else is playing right now? Ward couldn't wait. Well, Ward want to be first. He always be trying to be first in the room. And he beat me to the call at 5:00. He said he was ready, even though I wasn't here yet. He like, I'm gonna beat her to it. That's fine with me. I'd rather have you be here without me than to not. So I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. Who playing ball? Who's playing ball? They won. Dallas won. Okay, who else is playing today? Is Tampa Bay playing today? Is Tampa Bay playing? I know the Jags play tomorrow. We play Kansas. I say we. I say we just because I live here, not because that's like my team. It's just where I live. Jags play Kansas City tomorrow. That's going to be a difficult game because Kansas City's a good team. Who else is playing? Anybody else? Janae, the Commanders playing today? I know Janae keep up with the Commanders. Do the Commanders play today? Don't know. Tampa Bay, they play today? Probably. Who's playing today? Tampa is up by 13. Okay. Who is Tampa playing against? Y'all already know I don't keep up. Y'all already know that I don't keep up. For sure. All right. Since we run a little bit late, I need to get moving to make sure we can cover what we got to cover. Let's look. I'm just trying to stretch this SPX out on this chart so that way we don't have to see all the lines. Y'all know I keep a lot of lines on my chart. All-time high was hit last week yet again. We hit all-time high. Then we went up some more and hit another all-time high. Then we went up and hit another all-time high. Yes, we did. Are we on the daily chart? No, let me go to the, okay. So I'm going to start with the weekly chart. Let me switch over. Switch over to, hey, Jermaine. Hey, Miss Marsha, how you doing? Janae said yes, and I haven't watched, and that's why we're not winning. Because you already know when you watch, you say when you watch, they win, and you're not watching. How you going to let the team down like that? Okay, so this is the weekly chart. This is the weekly chart from SPX last week. SPX was as low as 60. Okay, let me get the right thing. As low as 66.41 and as high as 67.50. 67.50 all-time high. Ooh, 67.50. We was earlier in the week, we were bumping against 6,700. We went up to like 66.99, and I'll show that here in a minute. Hey, my day. And then it pulled back. Next thing we know, we got some news, economic news, and it pushed right on through 67.50. We closed, or SPX closed, though, at 67.15. So even though it pushed up there, it didn't stay up there for the entire week. It had to pull back. So let's look at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'm going to turn off my strat numbers real quick so that way those don't cloud up my little chart. All right. So this is Monday was, y'all see this is Monday back here. A significant little doji. The high and the low from Monday was 66.77 and 66.44. So about 33 points, right? High and the low. But the open and the close are within like a point, not even a whole point. 661.20 was the, so sorry, 661.58 was the open and 661.20 was the close. That's Monday. This Monday candle, this itty bitty doji back here, this was Monday. Basically a 30-point move up and down with a doji, open and close at the same place. But Tuesday SPX was like, we was just chilling yesterday. We was, taking a rest day, gaining our strength. And then on Tuesday, ran up, open and close on Tuesday. We had the open at, let me move this down so I can see, because I can't see my numbers. Come on down some more so I can see. There we go. Open and close was 66.56 to 66.88. So about 32 points was the open and close on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we've got 66.64, went up as high as 67.18. Okay, so this Tuesday is where we kind of bumped up into, not quite, I thought we might have gone up to an all-time high that day. We didn't. But on Wednesday, it bumped right on across it. See how it ran right on through, went all the way through open and close. Open 66, 664.92, and the close was 67.11. Closed on the other side of 6,700. On Thursday, it gapped up. There was a gap up open on Thursday to 67.31, and then it basically filled that gap for the rest of the day. It drew way back down to 66.93, below the 6,700, and then it went back up and closed again above 6,700 at 67.15. That was Thursday. Friday, it gapped up just a little bit, had a little bit of a ride up and then down. Good little up and down action on Friday. Fridays are always bananas. So the high and the low were 67.50 to 67.05. So about 45 points were the high and the low. But the open and the close were about 7 points. 67.15 was one of them and 67.22 was the other. So about 7 points did the open and the close. So it stayed close for that. But about a 45 point top to bottom, 45 points for the range. Okay, that's what the week looked like. Went up as high as, like I said, 67.50, but closed down around 67.15. That's what happened last week. Hey, Denise, that's what happened last week in SPX. All right, that's the SPX plan. SPY triple Q will look very similar to those because that's the way it goes. Okay, they always look the same. If we're talking about IWM, which is our small cap, IWM looks a bit opposite, but it also has an all-time high on Friday. It ran up as high as 248.09. Closed green. We got a lot of green. Several gaps were left behind on IWM. There's a gap here. There's ones you see here are fair value gaps. I'm actually going to turn that off. Fair value gaps is what's left behind there. But this is the movement for this week on IWM. An all-time high for them is right at 248, just a little bit below 248. Okay. Now, what is coming up for this coming week? All right. I sure hope everybody had a good week as far as your trading went for the week. Did we have some good profitables for the week? How were our profits this week? Put me some dollar signs in the chat if it was profitable. If it was not so profitable, ain't no emoji, I don't think. Más o menos. You can write más o menos, more or less. But here was our peak bot trading list for the week. 13 out of 18 were profitable, 72% profitable win rate last week. Now, the ones that were breached, actually only one of them was breached that was on both lists, right? That was the ARM. ARM on the put credit spread list was fine, but the call credit spread list, well, actually two of them, call credit spread list got breached, so it went on up through the call credit spread side. Adobe, same thing. Adobe dropped, so it was breached on the put credit spread side, but the call credit spread side was fine. That's what happens when you have a neutral stock. It could fall one way or the other. You have to watch the neutrals a little closer if you're going to trade both sides. If you're trading both sides of a stock and you're going to trade it as a neutral, so many times the thought process is that it may sit neutral for a minute and at some point it may run or it may drop. You need to be prepared to move however that goes, right? UPS was breached partially. I think it closed at like 86.50 or something like that. I don't remember exactly what I saw when I checked this right here. And XSP closed closer to 672. It really moved up along with SPX last week, so it was breached partially. It didn't go all the way through the call credit spread. And then Upstart, oh sorry, I said there's only one of them, two of them, but Upstart, the put credit spread side, was also breached, even though it was on the neutral list. What I say every time I put this on here and I tell you that there's potential on both sides of this list, I tell you to look to see what you feel like if you want to trade just one side of that. If it's on both sides, if it's on put credit spread and call credit spread list, I suggest that you look to see which one of them that you want to trade. Do you want to trade both sides or do you want to just do one? 72% win rate is still very good. If you're trading this automated where you're letting Peakbot do all the work for you and all you're doing is opening and letting Peakbot open and close for you, then you'll 72% would not have been good as far as profits go, because a breach of one of these can take away your profits. But now if you're watching to some degree and you got some active trading, then you would have closed some of these along the way. One of the things that I do when I'm trading them, even though I use Peakbot automated trading, is I've instituted for myself the guidelines that if one of my short leg gets breached, then I close that credit spread trade. I give the room to it, and if my short leg on the trade gets breached, and when I check the chart, it doesn't look like it's going to be some recovery unless I see something that gives me an indication of recovery. Otherwise, I'll close it. I'll take a smaller loss, right? Something that I can go ahead and recover. I'll take a smaller loss and move on forward with that. That's the way I do it. That's the way I do it. I do it. I do it. Yep, that's the way that I do it. I do it. I do it. I wanted to share with y'all my results for the month of September. These were the month of September results. Well, we can keep snapping. Yes, we can. We can keep snapping. Yes, we can. Y'all know I came on here at the end of August and shared my August results. As sad as they were, I still shared them with the community because I determined that I was going to be as transparent as I could be here. So this were my results for the month of September. I've done trading recap videos the last several weeks too, showing you my trade recaps. I didn't do one this week. I was out all day yesterday and wasn't able to do a video. And today I wasn't able either. So guess what? We get to do it right now. I'm not doing the trade recap, but I am sharing with you the results for the month. First couple weeks, we were taking it light, taking it slow, recovering off of August losses. But I wanted to get into a good rhythm again. We did that. And once we got a little more comfortable again, because we have a strategy that works, it's just we was struggling with the readjustment and resetting ourselves, getting back into the classroom in August. And so we kept going. Now, week 5 would only included a couple of days. One day was profitable and one day was not. The rest of the week for me, I had a profitable week. For this past trading week, I was profitable by $400. I think I had $450, $490 for the week we just had. But part of those days were in October. So that's why this shows a negative 1445. I had one day that was green and one day that was red, but I just was calculating September's numbers. And September's numbers over 4,500. If I sent you an email, so you should be able to see this too. I want you to know that, listen, if you are struggling to be consistent, you might want to consider coming on into E2T trading. E2T.trading is where we're trading the membership. We're trading SPX, my membership, where we trade SPX. We're not trading the membership. We're trading XSP and SPX each day, 0 DTE, 1 DTE. We're doing a little bit of that, but we're focused. One strategy, one stop. One strategy, one stop. What, one band, one sound? We one strategy, one stop. That's what we're doing. Even though we're kind of two stocks because we're trading in some, we're pulling in some IWM more recently. We started adding that, so maybe it's one strategy, two stocks. But one band, one sound, one strategy, one stop. That's what we're doing. So if you want to, come on and work your profits and all, and grow your profits in a consistent way. Why is my brain just kicking out words that don't go with what I'm saying? My brain is on something else, is what it is. That's what I'm a little distracted, but I am going to continue this call. But if you want to grow your account in a consistent manner, in a consistent manner, consider coming on and joining the membership. Okay. All right. Let's go see what's coming up this week. Let's see what's coming up this week. Oh, I think one more time I needed to swing to what the membership includes. I know I talked about what's already. 0 DTE trading, profitable strategy. We use credit spreads, daily profits to grow. We do alerts. We do charting and training, which will happen after this call. We have a dedicated Telegram group. We live trade together. Friday, we were hanging out together and live trading. That's always fun when we're on together and trading together. I really enjoy that. We hung out on Friday all day. We were there all day on Friday. The E2T University people also got to hang out with us on Friday while we were trading with the membership. I believe that was fun and blessed them like it blessed me, but we were hanging out together. It was good. It was good. It was good. All right, let's go check out what's going on this week. What's going on this week? Where is that? Oh, there we go. Let's go on over to the next screen. Got a few things coming up. Us not having our data coming up this week is going to could potentially cause a few issues. Could potentially cause a few issues with how we get our numbers and what we do with these numbers. Okay. Says here, all news is good news. Wall Street shrugs off the shutdown. Seems like it, because the shutdown was one day and the market ran to an all-time high the next day. Okay. Okay. Jobs report delayed. We're not going to get no data points because that comes from the government. All righty. Stocks continue to notch records while investors focused on AI-fueled momentum and Fed rate cut hopes. Shutdown leaves economic data in limbo. What to watch? $1 million homes are the fastest moving part of the housing market. Fastest moving from what standpoint? They're selling, people getting rid of them. Why Pepsi's chips empire is losing its luster. Walmart US to remove artificial dyes from private label foods. Oh, okay. How to catch up on retirement savings. World's biggest pension fund puts impact investing on the agenda. Trump considers bailout of $10 billion for U.S. farmers hurt by his trade war. Firefly bond. Newsom to sue Trump over sending California guard to Oregon. Interesting. Okay. Judge blocks the Trump Oregon plan as guards are ordered to Illinois. That's what came out of that government shutdown. We need some try to get some resolution. Try to get some resolution. Yes, we do. There will start to be layoffs if Trump decides the shutdown talks have stalled. Government shutdown, Senate funding measures fail again. I guess when they went to vote, wasn't the vote going to the Senate? Was it going on Friday? Janae, give me an update on what you said was going to happen. Trump calls shutdown unprecedented opportunity to cut the Democrats' priorities. Investors aren't the market's biggest loser if Trump, SEC, and quarterly reporting. This Meta alum has spent 10 months leading OpenAI's nationwide hunt for its Stargate data centers. Now, I didn't know Warren Buffett was 95 years old. OxyChem. Who is OxyChem? At 95, Warren Buffett proves he's still the sharpest deal maker with the $10 billion OxyChem deal. Huh. OxyChem. Who is OxyChem? I'm sure people definitely follow what he does. I'm sure people follow what he's talking about. Okay, so now let's move on to the data points for the not data points, the meetings coming up for this week. Monday, we've got FOMC member Schmid is going to talk at 5 p.m. That's after the market is closed. Tuesday, we got all yellow folders. Some FOMC folks are going to speak. Tip economic optimism. It says tentative. I think everything that says tentative has to do with data that we need. U.S. government data may be impacted by the shutdown. Tentative events are subject to delay, revision, or cancellation. FOMC folks are talking. Consumer credit comes out at 3 o'clock on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we've got some FOMC meeting minutes are coming out. Oh, the 10-year bond auction is happening at 1 o'clock on Wednesday. FOMC meeting minutes is happening at 2 o'clock. And isn't this the meeting minutes from the previous when they changed? This is like 2 weeks after we get the original decision, the decision about the rate cuts. 2 weeks later, we get these meeting minutes, which where you get the exact information, exactly what was said, right? Sometimes this does cause, that's why it's red folder. This does cause a stir because now we can see exactly what was said. You get the meeting minutes. It's not just how much of a basis point or whatever we were going to raise or lower, but now this gives you the meeting minutes, what was said, and more like moving forward information. So this usually causes a bit of a reaction. On Thursday, unemployment claims, again, tentative because we need this data from the government. 8:30, we've got unemployment claim. I'm not sure why this says tentative, shouldn't say tentative. Powell is going to speak on Thursday morning at 8:30 also. All righty. 30-year bond auction is Thursday. Friday morning, we got a lot of tentative data coming out in the morning. This is, again, government information we probably won't get unless we can, maybe by the time we get to Friday, we will have reached some type of decision. Okay. Maybe we have reached some type of decision. So that's what's coming up for this week as far as meetings and stuff goes. So Janae said, yeah, the Senate vote didn't improve, no change. Okay. Hey, Will. Hey, Pastor. How you doing? Looking at earnings for this week. We're at the early part of October. Looks like we've got Constellation Brands on Monday after close and AEHR. Tuesday morning, we've got McCormick. Tuesday afternoon, Penguin and Saratoga Investing. Wednesday after close, AZZ, RGP, Bassett, and Richardson Electronics. On Thursday morning, we've got Delta, PepsiCo, Berna, Tilray, Helen of Troy, and Neogen. Thursday after close, Applied APLD. Listen, APLD did some moving last week. Ooh, APLD tried to blow right. Didn't try to. I had a covered call. APLD blew through my covered call. I was like, oh, no. I'm not losing my stock. I'm not losing my shares, fooling up with you running like crazy. So I had to go buy back my covered call because I was like, I'm not losing my shares. Even though I was going to lose them at a nice little profit, I didn't want to release my shares back to the market so I could just go have to buy them back. I was not wanting to do that. So I bought back my shares. I bought back that covered call, bought to close that covered call. APOG and Levi's are also Thursday. Nobody has earnings on Friday. That's what's coming up this week as far as earnings go. Okay. What do you think we've got going as far as next week's look? Next week's outlook. Anybody got any speculations? Yeah. Got any speculations? Anybody got any your thoughts or your guesses? Anybody got any your guesses for where we're going next week? Looks like here, I'm back on SPX, by the way. SPX has I was looking for that moving average. The 9-period moving average has gone flat a bit, but the 20-period moving average is still in the bullish direction. Let me go see what my 50-period moving average. It's still bullish. Exactly. All of these stocks are still on top of the 3 moving averages that I have, the 9, the 20, and the 50. Nobody's questioning whether or not SPX is bullish. There's no question there. All right. No question at all there. But looks like, how did that 15 minutes support and resistance get way up there? That's weird. All-time high is at 67.50. I'm going to put weekly high up here at 67.50, right up in that area where it pulled back from really a good, this is the daily chart. Let's go with daily. The daily SR, support and resistance. And I do it as SR because when price gets past it, it becomes support. When it's below it, it's resistance. When price gets past it, it is support. There is no gap here to contend with. Nope, nope, nope. What thing we can do is see, do we see how this is kind of all momentum? There is a bit of a pause here right around that where we closed. Let's see, I want to put I'll put that as the weekly close, around 67.15, 67.18. I can bring it down a little bit. Yep, that's our weekly close. That's where SPX is. It may come down and grab a little juice, but this is that's a 2 up, but a failed 2 up. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. That's a failed 2 up, which is a bearish signal. My brain and me are not matching right now, which is a bearish signal. A failed 2 up means the price went up but couldn't stay up there. It came back down. A failed 2 up, which usually is a bearish signal. We'll see what happens come Monday. SPY and Triple Q are going to look very similar because that's what happens. Made up of the same stuff. I can move my all-time high number from 667 up to 672 because that is the all-time high on SPY. Let's look at our daily support and resistance. Daily support and resistance is there. The gap there is filled. Yada, 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 yada. Okay. Still bullish, but we do have some pullback. The 9-period moving average is kind of going flat, and the 20 is still below. Triple Q on the on the daily chart. Looking at the daily candles. Let me put us a line here up at the top. Triple Q didn't go up as high as it didn't. The chart looked a little bit different from the SPY chart. This is the weekly high is a little bit higher by a few points, just a few points. This is a 3. This was an outside day on Friday. Outside day doesn't give you as much of an indication as to what will happen next. But our 9-period moving average is flat. The 20-period moving average is still bullish. Triple Q, which a lot of the same things are in SPY and Triple Q. 3, again, this like those other ones we just looked at, remain to be seen what happens next. When you get up into all-time high areas, when you're in what's called price discovery, you literally have to go with price discovery. Hey, Lisa, you got to let price discover where we're going because you don't have previous data to help you determine what's going on. Okay, this is a daily buyers gap. It's a daily buyer's gap right there. We're gapped up from Thursday to Friday. IWM is got its move going, boy. IWM small caps. This is the Russell 2000. It is moving, moving, moving. We got a little bit of a support here at 240.57. Got some support there. This is a daily support. Resistance is there. There's a resistance here at 240.284. The high of last week on IWM happened on Friday, and that high is 248.09. I'm going to put that on the chart. Definitely need to put that there so that way we can look back at it later. Weekly high, daily high. That's where we at. All righty. What kind of stock we trading this week? What do y'all have on your list for trades this week? Anybody looking at anything interesting this week? I was going to look at APLD because I just mentioned how APLD did a good big move. Applied Digital. This is what it's been looking like. In case you were checking out the chart, because all things go back to the chart. This is the rise of APLD. It definitely started when it bounced off of this, really the 50-period moving average back in early September. It's been cruising ever since. Earnings is coming up this week. Ooh, see these. I love the strat now. The strat is some good information. The strat gives good information. It definitely allows us to see where price might be going. I do see a gap in here that mostly got filled by Friday's price action. There's a little bit of the gap left right there, but most of it got filled up. Now you see here, this is a shooter, and that shooter gave indication of some more downwards movement, and it gapped up and then pulled back. It had a little bit of an up move, but definitely on a bearish reversal. This is a 2 down candle, but it didn't close down here. It's not quite a failed 2 down, but it looks like it wants to go on back up some more. For sure. I see Rigetti, Oklo, BITF, Bitfarms. Yep. Got to see what they did for the last earnings. Maybe this is a buy. I like APLD longer term. APLD, Big Bear AI. There's a few of them I like for. Okay, what are you doing? I like for cash secure puts and starting to generate some positions. Rigetti is another one of my favorites. RGTI. Rigetti offers good premiums. I like to look at them. I've been watching Archer a little bit too. Anybody here watch Archer? The Uber of the sky. Been watching them too. Rigetti's on a nice little move. I probably should put a few lines on Rigetti. Give us some spots to look at for support and resistance. There's a little bit of a gap over here. It's small, but it's here nonetheless. Now, what does Oklo do? Oklo is somebody tell me what Oklo does. I feel like we talked about Oklo not long ago. Yeah, Archer. Archer is said the Uber of the sky. I don't feel like I've heard. Oh, Oscar is the one I'm thinking of. Oscar is the medical one. The telehealth kind of one is Oscar. What's Oklo? Somebody tell me. Oh, nuclear. There we go. I knew I had seen it somewhere. I feel like Tall Guy Tycoon has mentioned Oklo. I've seen him talk about Oklo a few times. Now that I'm watching the game, we tied. Oh goodness. Looks like Oklo came right back up and filled its gap. It gapped down. And then came right back up and filled its gap. Let's see what happens now that its gap is filled, because many times a gap fill can be, this was the gap. Many times a gap fill a gap will provide resistance. So see what it can it push through. You see it hit the top of that gap and pull back off of it. Hopefully it can get some push to keep going. But nuclear has been on the discussion because of we ain't got but so much energy. We got to get it from somewhere. So the nuclear piece has gotten some attention here a lot recently, which is cool too. Yeah, Archer, ACHR. Archer Aviation. Ooh, they had a big day Friday too. There's a little bit of a gap here. Big old day on Friday. Ooh, went from, well, the candle looks huge anyway. It opened at 10:57, 10:37, and it closed at 11:57. So about $1 move in a day is a lot for this, for a $10 stock to move $1 in a day is a 10% move in one day. Yeah, that's pretty big. Which what are these two lines right together? Moving averages, they're real close. How do I have two moving average lines so close together like that? I must have this one here must have two things showing up at the same place. Very, 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 very close, I say. Very, very close. All righty. SMR. Is SMR nuclear? Is that nuclear as well? Yeah, new scale power, SMR. I must have something running. That's why those two lines are right close together. The 200, 100, or 200 period moving average is why those two lines are running so close. So close. Okay. All righty. So listen, we've got a few things that we're looking at. What I will encourage you to do is, no matter what it is that you decided that you're going to trade, that you want to have you some criteria about how you will enter. What's your entry criteria? What's your exit criteria? No matter what you're doing, strategy, trading, if you're doing that, you want to have an entry criteria and you want to have an exit criteria for that, whether that's buying shares. What's the thing that makes you buy shares? Perhaps you just dollar cost average it, which means you buy it regularly, right? You buy a little bit every day, a little bit every week, a little bit every month, however you want to do it. Maybe you got a small account or another, and they got to be small. Maybe you have an account where you're buying just shares, and that's where you do that at. Maybe you got a place for long-term investments. Maybe you got a place where you're trading and that kind of thing. So this is how I will encourage you. I will encourage you to do that. Okay. That's my encouragement. All righty, everybody. We're done with this call. And for those who are in my membership, I will see you in about 15 minutes. About 15 minutes. Yeah, Janae, let's talk a little bit more about our exit strategies. I think that's a good thing to focus on. All righty. I'll see my membership folks in about 15 minutes. I want y'all to stay green and let's get this money. All right. I'll see y'all later. Bye, everyone.